Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the final character of my lesser-known Halloween dilly thingy, whatever you want to call it. And I figure I couldn't find, at least in the DC universe, there were a couple, at least at the time that I was trying to put this together, I couldn't think of any DC supernatural, monster characters. So I figured rather than focusing on a character, I would actually give you guys a whole entire team of monsters. And I introduce to you the Creature Commandos. And the Creature Commandos first appeared in Weird War Tales issue number 93 in November of 1980. And they were created by J.M. Damastis, I think is the writer, and Pat Broderick, there we go. The artist was Pat Broderick. And they were actually a military group set in World War II. However, the modern team would first appear in their own miniseries, Creature Commandos Volume 1, or not Volume 1, but Issue 1 in May of 2000. This version was written by Tim Truman and was drawn by Scott Eaton. And they had many agents. Okay, let me get into this. Okay, Project M. Project M is a secret government organization which began during World War II and specialized in experimental biotechnology and necromancy. Known creations of the project include the Creature Commandos, Miss America, and G.I. Robot. The project's main scientist is one Professor Mackenzie, or Mazurki. I cannot pronounce that. He was aided by Robert Crane. As told in Young All-Stars issue 12. They operate from a secret underground complex on mythical Ferris Island in New York. In 1942, Project M created the Creature Commandos. They were Lieutenant Matthew Shrave, a normal human being, Warren Griffith, a werewolf, Sergeant Vincent Valcrow, a vampire, Private Elliot Lucky Taylor, who was the Frankenstein monster, and Dr. Mira Rhodes, who was a Gorgon. Project M yielded other interesting specimens. Most notably, they were behind the creation of the superheroine Miss America. Professor Muscuri kidnapped her after his original subject perished. At first, his experiments appeared to have left her incapacitated. He later returned her unconscious form to the surface world. After that, she began a career as a masked hero, but was critically injured while fighting alongside the freedom fighters. Project M recovered her and nursed her back to health. While there, they were visited by the Young All-Stars, who had discovered that Project M had been infiltrated. A criminal named Deathbolt was there seeking a new physical host for the disembodied brain of the Ultrahumanite. Ultrahumanite then took over the body of a dinosaur recovered from Dinosaur Island. During the same visit, the All-Stars witnessed the unfinished body of the creature that would later be known as G.I. Robot. World War II. The team's first mission was in Paris, where they destroyed a Nazi-manufactured android duplicates of the Allied leaders. In their next mission to France to free scientist Dr. René Fredescu, at least I think that's how you pronounce the name, the Commandos ultimately found her in a death camp, and they had no choice but to kill her. Her knowledge of a chemical nerve gas was too risky to leave in Nazi hands. Because of his part in the killing, Taylor attempted suicide. Though the doctors attempted to repair him, he remained mute for the rest of the series. On another morally dubious mission, the team caused the deaths of dozens of super soldier children. In 1943, the Commandos were deployed to Dinosaur Island in the South Pacific. They were supposed to solve the disappearance of several Allied spotter planes. They discovered a hidden Axis naval base and were able to trick the dinosaurs on the island into turning on the Japanese Navy. Shreve took pictures for his commanders as proof of the island's existence, but Taylor destroyed them. He believed that the war would bring only destruction for the dinosaurs. When next they returned to Dinosaur Island, they met the first GI robot. He met the Commandos when their plane was attacked by a dinosaur and crashed onto the beach. Together, the soldiers discovered an underwater civilization, supposedly a lost colony of Atlantis, which was saturated in the Pacific. The lost colony had created a group of robots to carry on the work of Atlantean conquest. These androids took control of GI Robot. However, he eventually overrode their commands and sacrificed himself to destroy the colony. At the end of the war, the remaining creature commandos and a second GI robot, along with a robot dog and cat, were forced to man a rocket aimed at Berlin, but the rocket went radically off course and headed out of the atmosphere into deep space. Much later, they, along with GI Robot, as of Action Comics 872, appeared as captured in Brainiac's ship in Action Comics number 868. Modern era. Somehow the original team had later returned to Earth. And to Project M, they continued to serve as a special operations team to keep pace with their aging physiology. Muskerzi, the doctor who had originally transformed them, continued to perform a series of body modifications. This process extended their lives, but at the cost of their humanity. At an unspecified date in the near future, the various original team members adopted code names. Project M continued to grow in size, and the originals came to form the core team codenamed M-Team Alpha. The Alpha team was sporadically infused with new operatives as apprehension took its toll. Presumably, Lieutenant Shreve died or retired along the way. In his place came Captain Lucius Hunter, formerly of Hunter's Hellcats. He was said to be 74 years old and a recipient of extensive body modifications and rejuvenation therapies. Other new members included Aten, a mummy-like communication specialist, the Bogman, an amphibian grunt resembling the creature from the Black Lagoon, and a recently revived cybernetic version of Gunter McKay, who, along with his partner Sarge, died during World War II. Both Lucius Hunter and Gunter McKay were featured characters in our fighting forces. While deep undercover, Medusa discovered that Earth's dimension was in danger of invasion by a military alliance from the alternate Earth of Terra Arcana. This other dimensional conglomerate of warlords included Lord Saturna, Hyphus of Alstair, Tazala of Corlel, which is apparently Queen Bee number 3. Savar, Reptile Lord of the Lair. Simon Magnus of Blackstaff, and just basically a whole bunch of alien and supernatural type villains. Ugh. Anyway, in order to conquer Earth, the one remaining free dimension, Saturna's alliance enlisted the assistance of a powerful consortium on future Earth. This group from Earth gave weapons and teleportation technology to the alliance in return for alien real estate. Queen Bee number 3 and Magnus soon betrayed Saturna, cutting their own deal with Murray. In the M-Team's raid on Terra Arcana, Valcro and Gunner were captured by Claw the Unconquered. Claw was convinced to ally with him, and his people joined the battle against Saturna. In conclusion, Queen Bee number 3 killed Saturna and was herself killed. Terra Arcana's future was then left in the hands of its people. The modern Creature Commandos would later appear in the OMAC Project miniseries from 2005 to 2006. During the Infinite Crisis Villains United one-shot, a metahuman prison named Enclave M was shown in New Mexico. Its connection to Project M is unclear at this time, but in the Booster Gold 2008 miniseries, Maxwell Lord mentions Project M is still active, and at least in the times of his cybernization, and claims he was able to use their resources to give himself a new human body, free from the manipulations of Kilgore. In the Justice League Generation Lost storyline, Maxwell Lord took control of the Creature Commandos to attack an old Justice League International embassy, and during the battle he reveals himself while posing as one of the Commandos, in which he captures Jaime Reyes and escapes. Shortly thereafter, the Creature Commandos, free of his influence, wonder why they are so far away from their Project M base. And there's a lot of stuff from the New 52, but I'm not going to get into the whole Frankenstein Agent of Shade deal. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's the Creature Commandos in a nutshell. Highly obscure, monster-esque superhero team, but nevertheless, really, really freaking awesome. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, guys, and look forward to the next one.